Thanks a lot, guys. And yeah, we will be staying in the AL West in some sorts, as we'll have the Oakland A's coming up, but we will be jetting back across the country. ML BotBall has those magical powers. We'll get you on over to the Eastern Seaboard as we wrap up a 3-game set here between the A's and the Phillies. It's been all A's so far, most notably a big shutout victory, 6-0 last night, as Mike Fiers was on fire shutting down this Phillies lineup. But Phillies going for at least a salvage of the series here in the third game, as I am joined by Michael. And sorry we didn't get too much time in the practice channel. Is it just good to call you Michael? Do you want any specific name?
Yeah, Michael, Mike, anything works. We got a lot of great baseball players, both named Michael and Mike, so I don't mind either one.
Yeah, I had to change mine to Mike way back in the day just because there were so many Michaels in every single classroom I was ever in that I just decided I'd go by Mike, and that way we could erase some confusion. So I'll just stick with Michael for you, and I can be Mike, and that way we have a little bit of difference.
Michael and Mike in the evening.
There we go. And we'll hop right into this one, as there you see Philly starter Vince Velasquez, the much embattled fifth starter in this rotation. The 4-5 record doesn't seem too bad, but that 7.15 ERA sure stands out like a sore thumb. He has had all kinds of trouble early and often throughout the season. Plenty of decent relievers in the bullpen for the Phillies, as that one is going to get things started quickly. Ground ball to Segura, and that's the first out of the game. So Velasquez, that's one of his hallmarks, is getting into trouble early in games, sometimes even in the first inning. So a big one-pitch, one-out there, as before we can even introduce ourselves, we are off and running here in Philadelphia. Philadelphia as Ramon Laureano stands in. Good fastball for
Velasquez.
0-1 count here to Laureano. Velasquez deals good. Curveball swung on and missed. 0-2. Sorry, you were saying something about Velasquez.
Start, strong. When you get that, one pitch, one out, it makes it even better because you want to try to pace yourself that you're going to get length as well as obviously get, not getting up a lot of runs. So when you get that one out, you kind of can play a little bit more with the other 2 outs at the inning to try to, maximize the chance of getting the out.
As that one runs outside 1-2, you make a good point there, and it's one I've made before. As Velasquez fires, gets Laureano chasing down and away with a good slider. So that's 2 quick outs for Velasquez. And I've said it before here, a lot of people say that those last 3 outs in the ninth are the toughest to get, and I don't argue with that. But if you're a starter, and especially a fringe starter, a struggling starter, someone who hasn't been getting the breaks recently, those first 3 outs can be real tough to get. And when you get them, they can really be a springboard into what could be a good day. As Velasquez, sharp early, burns one right at the kneecaps at 95 to Matt Chapman. 0-1 to Chapman.
Down, 0-2.
Good knuckle curve, swung on and missed. Velasquez looking like a man on a mission so far. As he rocks and fires again, Chapman on a fastball, fouls it back, and count remains 0-2.
I got the count 1-2.
Velasquez deals low, 1-2.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Trying with the curve again. This time just a little bit too far down in the zone. Chapman spits on it, counts 2-2. 2 outs here in the first. Velasquez deals outside with a slider, and that's going to run the count full to the very dangerous Chapman. Velasquez into the line. The 3-2 pitch is grounded. That's going to be just foul down the third base line. Got on top of a breaking ball and rolled over it.
Attack Chapman here. Don't give him a pitch that he's going to want to hit.
And there, Velasquez burns him on the inside corner. Absolutely freezes Chapman. So 2 strikeouts there in the first inning, a clean first for Velasquez. We go to the bottom half. Phillies getting ready for their first at bat. It's 0-0 here in South Philly. As we get ready for the bottom of the first, taking a look at your starter for Oakland, it's Sean MikeA. MikeA entering play with the 6 record, 3.32 ERA. Author of a no-hitter a couple of years ago. His first customer of the night will be Adam Hazley. Fresh off the, I guess not injured yet, he was day-to-day for a while there, was out of the lineup. But back in now, swinging away as he's been doing all season, and he's going to find open spaces in left center. That one rolls all the way to the track. Hazley easily going to scoot in with a stand-up double. And just like that, the Phillies in business here in the bottom of the first.
For the Phillies, and nice cut up the middle, and kind of placed it perfectly so that he would be able to get extra bases.
The way Hazley's been going, the Phillies desperately needed him back in the lineup. They have not been able to find any sort of leadoff hitter other than Hazley throughout the last year plus. He's hitting well over 300 when he went down with a bit of a nagging injury. Not a lot going in his stead while he was on the shelf, so glad to have him back here and trying to spark a rally early on, as that one's going to be grounded right back up the middle. Hazley digging around third. 3 pitches into this game, the Phillies are going to take a 1-0 lead as a double followed up by an RBI single by JT Realmuto has the Phillies on top early. That'll bring Bryce Harper to the plate. Harper on a bit of a power outage lately. He's been stuck on 9 home runs for the better part of the last half month or so. 32 runs driven in, right around the 250 mark. So the Phillies not quite getting their money's worth so far out of Harper this year. I would argue that last year he probably gave them everything they paid for him. He just didn't get the help he needed. Here down quickly, 0-1 in the count. So MikeA gets one over, up and in. Realmuto stands on first, an RBI single already. Quick throw over. He's back in time. MikeA sets at the letters. Deals to Harper. That one's fouled. In back of the plate, 0-2. MikeA throw over to first again. Call that his C move, not even a B move. Realmuto trots back.
No, he's in there.
Game kind of glitched on me there. I'm not sure if he threw over again or not. Count's still 0-2. MikeA sets and deals. That one's going to miss low and away, 1-2. Realmuto still on first. The 1-2 pitch is swung on and lofted in the air to left. Not deep. Going to be a can of corn there. Charging in and firing to make sure that Realmuto doesn't get any big ideas.
The first baseman
Is Chad Pinder, left fielder for the A's, and that'll be one down here in the first as Rhys Hoskins digs in.
He's having a pretty nice season, 9th in the All-Star vote.
ball that's upstairs.
Yeah, Hoskins has been very hit or miss. For the longest time, he was well under the 200 mark. As you see, he's caught, I guess you could say caught fire. Believe it or not, that's what it's taken to get his average up to 221. But he's led the team in home runs and RBIs throughout the season. It's just been that whenever he's not hitting it over the wall, he's not doing much of anything else.
It's been a trend recently also that, like, average is not as high just for everyone, and it means a little bit less also just because everyone's hitting long ball now.
Fouls that one off 1 and 2. And I guess it's kind of frustrating to people like me who don't buy in as much to the analytics. There's definitely something to it. But it's frustrating to see these guys as rookies come up and hit nearly 300 and then have the front office say, no, you can hit way more home runs if you just change everything about your swing, and then have them hit 15 more home runs the next year, but they're also hitting 210. As Hoskins sends that one the other way, that one's going to find a hole and bounce through for a 1-out hit. Real Muto on to second, and the Phillies still rallying here. 1-out base hit by Hoskins, and that's what you saw from him when he first came up. He would go the other way. He'd stay on pitches, wasn't trying to yank everything over the left field wall. And every once in a while, you see that opposite field not only hitting, but power to the opposite field come through. And he makes it first and second with 1 on here as Didi Gregorius digs in. Good fastball on the inside corner by MikeA. Quickly ahead 0-1.
I'd just like to say, as a Yankee fan, I am a huge fan of Didi Gregorius. I'm kind of sad that we didn't re-sign him for AFC, but I kind of knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, and covering a lot of Phillies games, we've talked about it here repeatedly about Gregorius and his situation and the Phillies situation. And I guess you could even extend to the Yankees how it kind of works out as Gregorius might have ended the inning here 6-4, 2-3. Good dig out of the dirt. MikeA is going to escape more danger, but not before the Phillies put a run on the board here in the bottom of the first. We go to the second inning. Philadelphia 1, Oakland 0. But yet, a backtrack on Gregorius, the Yankees just are paying too many people too much money on too many long-term deals, and Gregorius was one of the next ones up to get a big deal, and they just weren't interested in an older guy looking for big money, so they cut him loose, especially coming off of a couple of injury-plagued years. The Phillies, on the other hand, could have used a shortstop. They have Bryson Stott, who's one of their top prospect shortstop-wise in all of baseball. But he was a year or two away, so they said, hey, Didi, we can't give you a big contract. Nobody's giving you a big contract. What we will do is pay you $14 million for 1 year. So if you have a good year, that's great. You're going to get big money and long years from someone else, and that's fine by us because we already have the replacement for you that we can pay a lot less for a lot longer. So that one is going to be driven to left field to the wall, but Kingery right there, a little bit of a scare. Velasquez elevated one up in the zone, but not quite enough on that one. One quick out here.
Now, kind of when they hit it, is it going to be gone or not? And sometimes it's like that one where it's kind of, you think it may be, and then you react, but then something like that where it just gets right before the warning track.
Yeah, I think the reputation of the A's may have cost them a double there, as Kingery, knowing that this team swings for the fences all the time, was playing very deep. And even though that ball made itself well onto the track, Kingery only needed to take a few steps back and planted himself under it. So Olsen takes that one on the outside corner. 1-1.
Ball in.
Velasquez deals inside with a slider. That one misses. 2-1. Olsen rips that one. He's going to beat the shift and send that one into right center. Hazley, a good job to get over and cut it off. Keeps Olsen to just a single. But they're an absolute trace around through the right side of the infield. And the A's have their first base runner, their first hit of the game. Going to bring up Robbie Grossman to the plate. Grossman, the right fielder for the A's. Phillies lead 1-0 here early on in South Philly. Looking to get at least one game in this series. Runners going on the play. Going to be a bang-bang play. Throw just a bit high from Real Muto. And Olsen's going to swipe that one. I think that was a botched hit and run. Olsen not known for swiping bags, but a good jump and a little bit of a high throw allows Olsen to take that one. And the A's now have a man in scoring position with one out, but an 0-2 count now to Grossman. Velasquez fires. That one's going to be grounded over to third. Bohm has it over to first. 2 down. Olsen can't go anywhere with the ground ball on the left side. So Velasquez doing his job, making good pitches in the right spots, kind of dictating where the A's have to go with the balls put in play. Austin Allen now stands in. Allen, first pitch swinging. He's going to flare that one. Great play by Bohm. Over the shoulder catch. So Bohm, a couple of good plays here to end the inning. A's threat is denied, and we will go to the bottom of the second. Your score still Philadelphia 1, Oakland nothing.
Nice job by Velasquez escaping from that jam. Good sign for him early as well, as he hasn't had the best season so far.
Leading off the bottom of the second here for the Phils is Scott Kingery. Kingery mired in a slump. 5 hits over the last week.
That's out.
MikeA deals just eyeball one here. Kingery fouls one back. 1-1.
Younger players in the game, Philly's hoping to see a leap from him over the next few years.
Yeah, Kingery, a unique situation. They signed him to a 6-year contract before he ever played a game in the show. As Kingery ropes that one to left, coming in and making the play is Pinder, and that's one down here in the second.
And that seems to be the new trend in the MLB. A few other teams did it. I remember the White Sox did it with one of their players. It may have been Giolito, but I could have that wrong. And it's just kind of becoming a new thing that players are doing just to make sure they get some money rather than possibly striking out in free agency, which has been a hit or miss with some of the players now.
Bohm wheels around on that one and sends it deep to left, but hooking foul. I think it just shows supreme confidence. And, you know, Kingery isn't a can't-miss prospect. He's not supposed to be an all-star every single year, not a, Hall of Fame candidate. But the Phillies just felt that they had a guy who was going to be solid both defensively and offensively for a decade. And so instead of getting 3 years out of him and then having to pay him maybe millions in the arbitration process, they threw out a much lower average annual value at him before he ever had to play on that $500,000 rookie contract. And what rookie's going to say no to that? So, if he keeps on producing, the Phillies are going to get great value. And if not, Kingery's got his money before he ever had to worry about what his first 3 years were going to stand up to an arbitration. 1-2 to Bohm is swung on and tapped in back of the plate. Count remains 1-2.
And, another thing with these long-term deals as well is, the CDAs in 2021, it protects from anything from that affecting their salaries.
Bohm taps that one back through the middle. Great backhanded play, running into shallow center, but getting the ball across the infield is Barreto. Incredible play, ranging hard to his right.
And one of the harder plays in baseball is doing that. When you're going the other way, going one way, you have to throw it the other. I remember the Yankees, Robinson Cano did that all the time, and it was very fun to watch. And it has become a thing that every second baseman can do now.
Yeah, same with your Yankees. Probably the pioneer of the jump throw while going away from the bag is Derek Jeter. So many throws from shallow left field that he was able to gun guys down on. 2 outs here in the second for Gene Segura, Phillies second baseman. Count runs to 1-1 on Segura.
I know we talked about Didi earlier, but Segura could possibly slot in at short next year if Didi is not re-signed and their prospect isn't ready for the MLB yet.
Yes, Segura was the full-time shortstop last year for the Phillies in between a few injuries. They had kind of a merry-go-round in the infield last season as Segura chases one out of the zone. Great changeup just falling off the table by MikeA. And he goes 1, 2, 3 through the Phillies in the second. We go to the third here in Philadelphia. Phillies up 1-0.
Love the movement on that pitch by MikeA.
Leading off for Oakland.
Leading off the third here for the A's, it'll be Franklin Barreto. He of that outstanding play defensively out at second base last half inning. Barreto, good average, a little light on the power, but that's why he's batting at the bottom of the order, as he is going to be picked off by Segura with his own backhand. Second baseman on second baseman violence there. And one down on one pitch here in the third.
Nice start to the inning for Velasquez again.
Now we get the always entertaining American League starter having to dig into the batter's box. Sean MikeA not looking like the most confident guy up there. As he watches a couple of pitches, one for a ball, one for a strike, 1-1.
As more leagues are getting into having a designated hitter, it's going to be. It could have been a while since he last hit. So he has some experience, probably little league, but he's going to have. Oh.
Yeah, that's not good. You saw Velasquez wincing in pain after that last pitch. Trainer's out and looking at something maybe in the rib cage. Sometimes pitchers, when they extend their arm like that, they can pull those intercostal muscles. There's the always dreaded oblique that can nag at you for a while. Really anything to do with your core. Hard to do anything without moving that. And it looks like Velasquez is going to have his day cut short. Was having a good day. But we'll have to leave this one with just one out in the third. I mentioned at the top of the broadcast the Phillies have been auditioning fifth starters throughout the season. Velasquez has maintained the role despite having that ERA north of 7, but a guy like this and Cole Irvin, Nick Pivetta, Ranger Suarez, all of them in the bullpen as long guys, middle relief guys, but all of them have the ability to come in and be a starter, although Irvin rudely greeted by a rocket shot by MikeA. Luckily for the Phillies and Irvin, that one goes foul, but MikeA apparently not impressed with what Irvin's bringing to the table.
And the good news for the Phillies is you have one out. You're facing a pitcher, which is likely out. So you have one.
Now batting.
You have one out you're playing with, and then you can figure out how to bullpen the rest of the game. So you already can figure out, okay, how many innings am I get from each person, hypothetically, to try to get out of this unfortunate situation.
And there, Irvin does get the job done. MikeA grounds out to short. That'll bring the top of the order back up with Marcus Semien. Irvin loops in a curveball there, misses outside 1-0. Irvin, mostly a fastball curveball guy, a little bit of a changeup, probably the lack of a definitive third pitch or a big out pitch that's keeping him from being in the rotation to begin with for the Phils. As he misses outside there, 2-0. Irvin deals. Semien sends that one to first. Great pick there by Hoskins. He'll take it himself. And that'll do it for the A's here in the third. So no runs, no hits, no errors. However, Vince Velasquez out of this game due to an apparent injury. We'll see if we can get you any more information as the game goes on. As there we see Heidi, not sure if she has any info yet, but so far seems like a bit of a pitcher battle, although that's been shaken up with Velasquez leaving the game.
And just a quick thing with Hoskins ending the inning. Nice thing also about him is his positional versatility, as he can also play the outfield, and obviously now he can play first base. So you could put him in different spots based on the personnel you have for that game or for that season.
The pitcher, Cole Irvin.
It's now Cole Irvin, talk about being thrown into the fire. Has to enter on short notice there in the top of the third, and now he leads off the bottom of the third. MikeA runs one up and in, just out of the zone, 1-0.
Just missed pitch. Maybe a little bit frustrated for MikeA.
Yeah, I don't know where MikeA's head's at, but if I was a pitcher and I only got to swing the bat maybe 1 or 2 series a year, so maybe 2 or 3 games a year as an AL guy, and I hit one 350 feet just shy or just left of the foul pole, I would probably let my thinking get the better of me and take that one back out to the mound, because how many opportunities as an AL pitcher are you going to get to hit a home run?
Yeah, it's pretty well hit. Just missed. MikeA was hoping he'd get that dugout treatment for first home run, and all the things that come with that home run by a pitcher.
It's a swing and a miss there, makes it 2-2. 2-2 pitch. Irving goes down swinging, went fishing there, came up empty. That'll be a quick out here to begin the third for MikeA.
And back to the top of the lineup, where he did struggle in the first inning, gave up a couple of hits. So it's going to be key to him to bear down here and not let the damage, not let them make any damage.
Count 1-0.
In steps Adam Hazley, getting right back into the swing of things after about a week and a half on the shelf. 1 for 1 with a double on the first pitch he saw back in the first. Came around to score on the JT Realmuto single. That's the difference in the game right now as he stares at 2 out of the zone. 2-0 to Hazley.
MikeA having a little bit of trouble with control this innings, or he got behind with 2 balls in both batters so far.
Hazley takes a healthy cut at that one, but fouls it back over the third base dugout. 2-1. MikeA into the wind. The 2-1 pitch is swung on and belted. That one's going to find more open spaces. Deep to right center, 1 hop off the wall. It's going to be 2 doubles and 2 at-bats for Hazley. And that injury is not showing any lingering signs as Hazley back with a vengeance at the top of the lineup for the Phils.
This first one was to left field, this one's to right field. So he's been spraying it around the ballpark, which is tough as a pitcher because you can't go outside, you can't go inside if they're going to be able to hit it anywhere.
It's crazy how Hazley has rocketed up the system. A first-round pick out of Virginia in 2017. Was promoted mostly as a stopgap, an emergency guy when the Phillies lost both Andrew McCutchen and Jay Bruce within about a week of each other last season. So they threw Hazley right into the fire, and he responded. He's played well enough to make himself an everyday starter. In fact, he's supplanted McCutchen, who remains healthy but on the bench here for the Phillies. Bruce has been up and down with injuries, but it's clear that Hazley is the future for at least 1/3 of this Philadelphia outfield.
And McCutchen, it's a little bit surprising, but he got injured last year. They signed him to a pretty decent deal, but McCutchen obviously still has a lot of ability to put has speed. He still has the ability to put the ball in play. So they may decide to use him in the other parts of the outfield as Hazley is being used more and more.
Yeah, McCutchen, you would think he'd still be dangerous, but he is just striking out in alarming fashion this season as the 1-2 to Realmuto just misses. MikeA probably thought he had one there, but instead the count runs 2-2.
It's the second time this inning he's had a borderline pitch called for a ball, so he may, umpire may be squeezing the zone on him.
As Realmuto takes a hanger and belts it deep to left. Will it stay fair? It will. A rocket shot right out to left field, just staying inside the bowl. That's a 2-run home run, and the Phillies triple their lead. Realmuto with all 3 RBIs on the day. Hazley and Realmuto getting the job done. A combined 4 for 4. And here in the bottom of the third, the Phillies take a 3-0 advantage.
Yeah, the top of the lineup for the Phillies has been outstanding today. And MikeA going to be very frustrated, especially with that pitch that was called for a ball he may have thought was a strike.
Yeah, I think he knew that that one was gone as soon as it left the bat, and compounding that with the frustration of being able to have gotten rid of Real Muto had he gotten a borderline pitch just one before. So, yeah, MikeA really going to have to battle not only physically but mentally here as he finds himself down 3-0, and Harper's going to tap that one in front of the plate. Quickly pouncing in front of it is Allen. It'll be 2-3 on your score sheet, 2 down here in the third.
Despite the fact that he's given up 3 runs, he isn't very high in the pitch count, which means if he settles down now, he could still go 6-7 innings in this game and save most of the A's bullpen.
Yeah, that's how the Phillies have been feast or famine this year. They are a free swinging bunch. They will take their hacks, and if they hit you early, they can hurt you. But if not, pitchers have had a tendency to really run away with things, kind of bury them early. They can work through 3, 4, 5 innings on low pitch counts, and if their team's up, they can just make better pitches then. As Hoskins is going to send this one straight up the chute. Allen again under it. He makes the catch, and that'll get the A's out of the third, but not before JT Realmuto strikes again. Hanging curveball, punished by Realmuto, laser beam down the left field line. Just sneaks inside the pole for a 2-run shot, and it's 3-0 Phillies as we head to the fourth.
The center fielder, number 22.
See how long the Phillies give Irvin a leash. Obviously, he came in to see how long they'll even let him go, because he didn't get to warm up as much as he would in a normal bullpen appearance.
Center fielder Ramon Laureano leading off for the A's. And yeah, you know, when a pitcher gets hurt, you do get all the time that you need, but that's kind of a loaded statement, because when you're on the actual mound in front of 40,000 people, it's a little bit tougher than going at your own rate in the bullpen, pitching at your pace. They say that you have all the time you need, but really they're ready to get things going after a minute or two. And so, yeah, tough spot for Irvin, but for the Phillies' benefit, you know, he is a starter. He's got a stretched out arm as he saws off Laureano. Hoskins right there in foul territory. Little humpback liner. Line out for out number 1 here in the fourth. But yeah, Irvin, probably not going to go deep into this game, but I think the Phillies are confident that as long as he's getting outs, he can get them, 2, 3, maybe even 4 innings, depending on how quick he can work.
I can also see them putting some in the bullpen for a good amount of time if they plan to pitch them for Velasquez if Velasquez is hurt for a long time.
Yeah, we still are waiting on word. It didn't seem overly serious. He wasn't quite doubled over in pain. But then again, the midsection, it's really hard to isolate that. It's hard to rest it as well. There's not much you can do without using your stomach, your abs, your obliques, your ribs, anything like that. So hopefully not one of those things that's going to nag for weeks on end. Two-one count here to Matt Chapman. Chapman checks his swing. They're going to say he went around. Chapman not sure about that, but the count runs to 2-2 here with 1 out in the fourth. Irvin deals low fastball. Line foul down the first base line. Count remains 2-2.
Swing from Chapman. Obviously saw him hit it at the very last second, so he may be expecting an off-speed pitch.
Yeah, and you can understand that coming from Irvin, who doesn't have a put-away fastball, facing a great hitter, a great fastball hitter in Chapman. Probably thought he was going to do exactly what he just did there, try to get a backdoor curve in, and now he comes back with a 3-2 pitch. He goes back foot curveball and has Chapman waving over it. So great piece of pitching there by Irvin. As Chapman down on strikes 2 away here in the fourth.
Across the zone, and really nice pitch for him in a pressure situation.
1-0.
So MikeA now standing in. 0 for 1 on the day, a fly out back in the second inning. Irvin, the 1-0 pitch, leaves that one out there, a hittable pitch. MikeA just behind it. Fouls it off over the first base dugout, 1-1.
And it's a little early, but a nice called game for Real Muto so far. Very good at mixing up the fast speeds and the off speeds.
You know, that is what is going to get him paid, whether it be by the Phillies or someone else, as he is a free agent after this season, as Canna lines that one foul 2-2. He calls a good game. He's got the best arm behind the plate in the game. He's one of the better runners of catchers in the game. He's shown the powers. That one's going to be lined out to left. That's going to be off the wall. Kingery quickly up with it. Going to hold Canada just one. Canada probably feeling a little bit cheated there as he laces one. Just a trace around the left field off the wall. But that's a long, loud, scary single. And it'll bring Matt Olson to the plate.
Yeah, and it's annoying as a hitter when that happens. You hit it really good, but you end up getting hold of this single. And speaking quickly of Real Muto, you don't got a lot of great catchers in the league. It's a little bit of a dearth for them, so it may even increase the amount he gets paid and the length he gets in free agency.
Yeah, you've got some elite guys. Yasmani Grandal comes to mind, but it is a very, very slim first tier. And the drop-off, there's some good catchers out there, but the drop-off from the first tier to the second tier is massive. There might be some great hitters, there might be some great game callers, but there are a few as well-rounded in this game as JT Realmuto. Irvin deals to Olson, takes a big hack there and fouls it away 1-1.
Yeah, that's one of the good trades the Phillies have made is for Realmuto. They've had some ones that have been criticized, but that's been a good one.
Olson gets his bat out in front of that one, lines it to right. That's going to fall in front of Harper. That'll be a hit. 2 for 2 for Olson. And the A's have something cooking here with 2 down here in the fourth. As there you saw Harper respecting the power of Olson, playing almost with his heels on the track. No chance to get to that flare to right. That'll bring up Robbie Grossman with 2 on and 2 out here in the fourth. Grossman flares one foul down the right field line, 0-1.
And we'll see how much of it leaves Girardi gives Irvin, see if he warms someone up, if the Grossman gets a hit here.
Yeah, it's a tough call here. You don't want to leave Irvin out to dry, but this Phillies bullpen has been taxed by the A's in this series, but it looks like Irvin's going to get out of it. Grossman lofts one into shallow right. Harper catches it on a trot, continues that trot right on into the first base dugout, and Irvin gets out of the jam. We head to the bottom of the fourth. Phillies on top, 3-0.
Yeah, and Irvin, nice job getting out of the jam. I can see him going at least one more inning as he's going to be facing the bottom of the A's lineup, so it's going to be a little bit of an easier inning, and we'll see when they get to the top lineup if they keep him in or if they try to go somewhere else in the bullpen.
Yeah, and that'll be an interesting call for the A's. Just as interesting as seeing pitchers bat in the American League is how American League managers manage the pitcher's spot in the batting order. Manaya, as you've mentioned, has not thrown poorly. If he could just get rid of JT Realmuto ruining his life, he'd be having a good day, but his spot due up in the order. Still a manageable pitch count, still a manageable game, so it'll be interesting to see how they treat him when his spot comes up in the order, especially if he's able to have a clean inning here. Gregorius stands in the 0-1 pitch. Good front door slider, I believe. No, that was a 2-seamer, but just misses inside, 1-1.
As a hitter, you're rarely going to swing at that because he looks like a ball the entire time, so it's a really nice pitch, that slider.
Yeah, especially lefty on lefty, that 2-seamer breaking back into you. It's tough to get lefties to swing at that one. Gregorius.
He did have that one season.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
One season where he hit really good against lefties, but for the most part, when you're facing a lefty hitter, that really is in a pitch that the hitter just hates to see.
Gregorius challenges the shift and will come up empty. Always hate the ground out to the softball short fielder. Barreto is there charging in, making a good backhand play, throwing on the move. That's 1 down here in the fourth, and Scott Kingery now standing in. MikeA deals. Carves one off. Good slider catch in the inside corner. 0-1 to Kingery. Kingery swings through one. 0-2. As you see on the left hand of your screen, the AL standings, the A's not quite running away with it, but opening up a healthy lead here in the AL West as Kingery swings and misses. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Down on 3 pitches. Third strikeout victim of the day for MikeA.
Yeah, and the surprising thing in the AL West is the Astros struggled. Made it to the World Series last year, and even though they lost, their manager and GM, you'd expect them with their talent to have a much better season so far.
Yeah, definitely some adversity issues, you could say, to be putting it very mildly. Maybe it's starting to wear on them. However, as bad as their record is, they've got all the talent in the world. Would not surprise me at all to see them make a charge as the season goes on. This boom smacks that one foul. 1-1. MikeA into the line. Good fastball right on the inside corner. 1-2. Alec Bohm, 3 home runs in his first week and a half in the show. Has had the power quieted since then. Philly's top prospect entering the season was brought up mid-April to try to put a punch into a struggling offense. He's done okay. Was injured for a while, but has become the everyday third baseman for this club.
Recently, you've seen prospects get up to hot starts. Think of Cody Bellinger, think of Aaron Judge, you think of Gleyber Torres, but somehow pitchers eventually adjust.
Yeah, and it's pretty standard. Although the guys know that they can probably get you with the breaking stuff, if you're a rookie, you're always going to get challenged by the fastball because that's the easiest to throw, the easiest to control, the easiest to limit a starter's pitch count. So until you prove that you can hit a major league fastball, that's what you're going to get. As Bohm rifles that one out to right center field. Long run, but going to be tracked down. And that will do it for the Phils. Here in the 4th, we go to the 5th inning. Phillies still on top, 3-0.
Much needed inning for MikeA after getting up that 2-run homer last inning. But next inning will be key as he's going back to face the top of the lineup.
Yeah, and that's where the decision's going to come. I think, depending on the situation, you could do just about anything if you're the A's. You could leave MikeA in there. You see, I think the wheels are turning there in the dugout. It is entertaining for me to see these American League managers try to figure out what to do when it comes to dealing with the pitcher spot.
Doesn't work out, it'll always be criticized. We know that.
Exactly, and how do you even respond to it? Because you never have to respond to those questions. It'll be catcher Austin Allen leading things off. Cole Irvin's still in the game for the Phils. I think a lot has to do with what happens with the first 2 guys. If you've got 2 runners on, it might be time to just shoot your shot, put a pinch hitter in, ask the bullpen to carry you the rest of the way. However, if they go down quietly, it's still a 3-0 game. It's within reach. If you think MikeA's got another inning or 2 in him, maybe just let him take his hacks. That one's going to be tapped up the middle by Allen. Gregorius over to it. Great range, great throw across his body. Hoskins digs it out of the dirt. That's a web gem, if ever there was one. Didi Gregorius contorting himself in all sorts of fashions to make that play.
Gregorius has turned into a nice defensive shortstop. Initially, when he was on the Yankees, he struggled a lot, making a lot of errors. But by the time halfway through the season, he became a solid defensive shortstop, and you can see that there. He made a really nice play.
Yeah, perhaps being able to get healthy over the offseason, that's probably a big reason why he's not still with the Yankees. They weren't willing to wait on the health to come around. And the Phillies able to get him on a 1-year deal. We're saying, hey, yeah, if you're good enough to play, come hang out with us for a year. And he is making them proud so far, doing well both defensively and offensively. So far that signing working out as Irvin gets one across the knees, 2-1. Barreto swings right over the top of one there, 2-2.
I don't know if you remember, but when Jeter retired, a lot of people were like, who's going to be the next shortstop? Because it wasn't so many great shortstops. But now there's so many great shortstops in the league that there's arguments over even the top 5 because there's just like 10, 15 great shortstops in the league.
Barreto is going to fist that one into center. Good pitch by Irvin, sawed him off, but credit to Barreto, gets his hands through and is able to take that one right off the label into shallow center for the single. And yeah, I agree. We are in a rare era of great defensive shortstop play. MikeA is going to hit for himself. He's going to bunt. He'll get the job done. Score it 3-1. Good play by Hoskins there. We've seen him be aggressive for the Phillies on these bunts throughout the season, oftentimes trying to get the out at second, but they're choosing to get the second out. Knows that runner at second doesn't matter too much for the time being.
And a lot of times in the AL, a pitcher will bunt it automatically.
But that's the thing is, you think that's the easy play. Don't ask the guy to swing the bat, but bunting oftentimes can be just as hard. And if you're not used to it, if you haven't been at bat in a while because you're an American League pitcher, so it's fouled off by Simeon 1-1, it's probably more terrifying to square up and just stick your face right in front of whatever's coming at you.
And obviously, there's always the risk when you're running that you're going to get injured. A lot of pitchers' injuries have happened from AL pitchers trying to do something they haven't done.
Simeon shoots that one up the middle. Another great backhanded stop by Segura on to first. And that's going to do it for the A's. So they get a runner on, but can't do anything with it. We move to the bottom of the 5th. Phillies on top, 3-0.
Leading up for the Phillies.
Irvin coming up this inning. We'll see if the Phillies pinch hit for him or if they let him swing and try to pitch him 1 or 2 more innings this game.
Yeah, I think that's going to depend on what the predetermined pitch count for him is. He has been a starter before, so at one point he was capable of going 80 or 90 pitches. I don't think that's quite the limit now. That's probably down a considerable amount, probably more like 55, 60, 65 range. Again, it could be determined by what Segura does. If he gets on base, maybe you have Irvin in who has experience with bunting, and then leave him in to see if he can get an out or 2 more before you get the rest of the bullpen involved. As Segura sends that one just foul down the third base line. On the other hand, if Segura makes an out here, maybe you just pull the ripcord there, say good job, Irvin, and see if everybody else can take you the rest of the way, as that's a check swing, appeal down to first. Segura did not go. That's going to run the count full. MikeA deals. Segura pops that one out. Shallow right. Barreto takes care of that. And one down here, so decision time for the Phils. Will Irvin stay in this game?
Your attention, please.
He will not. It's going to be Andrew McCutchen coming on. Have not seen the Phillies bullpen, but again, they've got no shortage of guys with decent arms, decent long arms who can go multiple innings if needed. So McCutchen fouls that one back.
You're at least calling up one pitcher tomorrow, likely because Velasquez is hurt, as well as you pitched Irvin a couple of innings. So you could also rely on that for that person to kind of burn a couple innings next game if something drastic happens.
Yeah, and the wheels are always in motion. That might be why they let Irvin go as long as he did. Just knowing that they're going to have to call somebody up, hopefully. Turning the rotation over. They've got Aaron Nola going in their next start. So hopefully he can pitch a nice long outing, not tax the bullpen too much. But crazy to see how those things work. The players are playing hard on the field. The manager is trying to do what's best for today. But I guarantee you in the offices up there in the bowels of the stadium, they're more concerned about calling minor league affiliates, as McCutchen's going to ground out here for out number 2.
Now
But yeah, team president, the scouting director, the minor league brass, they're all on the phone right now trying to figure out rotations in Lehigh Valley and over in Scranton, and figuring out what they're going to do here, as the Phillies look like they're going to need a starter for at least the next week or so.
Ball 1, no strike.
Is the opener, and you pitch a guy, now there's a 3-batter limit, which changes it a little bit, but you can still do an opener, do one guy, and then 3 or 4 innings with the next guy.
I got a ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, that's a very interesting thing there with the opener, and I mean, it's paid some dividends. Kevin Cash and the Rays certainly seem to have made a reputation out of it. It's the 1-1 to Hazley. Hazley free swinging, and why not? 2 for 2 with 2 doubles, but he misses that one. 1-2.
This will be a big pump out, strikeout if MikeA gets it here, as Hazley has tortured him all day.
And he does get it. MikeA goes up in the zone, and Hazley can't catch up. He goes down swinging, and MikeA didn't quite help the rally last inning, although he did get the bunt down, but they trusted him to go back out there for the 5th. He gets through his inning,
number 66.
and it'll be on to the 6th, as the Phillies are going to call on Robert Stock. Stock really the only big move in this Phillies bullpen and rotation throughout the season. Everybody's been healthy and pretty productive. Stock, the one call-up about a month ago, now already making his 10th appearance.
This is likely just to bridge it to your setup guys, because he's only pitched 9.1 innings this year in 9 games, so he can't go that long.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. The Phillies have the back end of their bullpen ready for this one. They really need Stock to just get his inning here and not have to make any more moves before the 7th. And so far, so good, as Laureano out in front of a changeup there, 0-2. Stock sets at the letters. The 0-2 pitch is swung on and laced to left. That's going to get down. Base hit there. That's not something you want to see out of your relievers. Left that one a little bit up in the zone, a little too hittable on an 0-2 count especially. And Laureano has the A's off and running. Man on with nobody out.
I don't think there'll be a big leash for Stock. But remember, there's that 3-batter rule, so you can't put anyone in until there are 3 batters in this inning.
Yeah, no. Phillies preparing for some of the left-handed power coming up in this A's order, as Ranger Suarez and Jose Alvarez, both lefties, up in the bullpen. Big rip there by Chapman. This is going to be a big challenge for the young Robert Stock. Chapman, the biggest power threat for this A's team. Granted, he can't quite tie it, but he could do a lot of damage to the Phillies' psyche here. As that one's going to get through the wickets of Real Muto, runner advancing. Just a spike slider. Real Muto trying to get in front of it, but it took that low skip right through the legs. Scored that one a wild pitch.
You want to throw one that they may have to chase during 2 strikes, but that one was not even close to the zone, and it's almost no way Chapman was going to chase on that one.
Yeah, and that could be, exactly what I just mentioned. Stock, a rookie, Chapman, a big power hitter. He just really got on top of that one, tried to overthrow it, and instead ends up putting one right in front of the plate into the dirt, where it is tough to handle. The 2-2 pitch to Chapman, that one is going to be laced foul down the third baseline. Chapman out in front of that one. Big pitch here for Stock. Chapman seems to be sitting on that slider. And that one's going to miss just below the knees. Good pitch by Stock, but couldn't get the call.
I thought Stock will go low here. Last 3 pitches have been low. Chapman's going to be expecting it, so you may try to go high and in or a little bit on the sides.
Stock goes back to the fastball, but misses well below the knees. There was a base open, but In giving in to Chapman now, you let the tie and run come to the plate. And really not much of a dip in power threat as MikeA steps in. He's 1 for 2 on the day. So Stock officially in the jam. MikeA first pitch swinging, launches that one to deep left. Kingery to the wall, back on the wall. Now coming in, and he's going to fire into third. Throw's going to be offline. Runner will tag. That didn't look great for the Phillies off the bat. Didn't quite get a weather report on where the wind was blowing, but that might have been saved by the wind as that ball was tagged by Canna, but stays in the yard, and for the moment, the Phillies retain that 3-0 lead.
I'm surprised Stock is still in the game. He's had the 3 batters. He's given up a hard hit, a walk, and a long fly ball. So I'm surprised that he's still in the game.
Stock living on the edge and very shocked now, especially with the 2 lefties up and ready in the bullpen, and the lefty Matt Olson up now 2 for 2 on the game. Cannot believe that you are not seeing either Ranger Suarez or Jose Alvarez in this game.
Trying to save the bullpen a little bit, playing on the edge as well, what Girardi's doing.
The 1-1 to Olson, great changeup at the bottom of the zone. But I don't know why you would save the lefties, because the A's don't have that many lefties, especially for a power-hitting team. It's sticking with Stock, and Stock once again with the changeup. Backs up a great changeup with another great changeup. Olson beside himself. Swung through one, frozen by another. And Stock pitching his way right back into this inning. Now 2 down with runners on the corners. And Robbie Grossman now batting from the left side up to bat.
That was an absolutely filthy pitch right on the corner.
Grossman's going to flare that into no man's land. Not great contact, but
now batting.
The Phillies playing deep in the outfield, trying to limit extra bases. Grossman's able to flare that one into shallow center. Finds a hole. The A's with their first run of the game. It's now 3-1, and now the Phillies will go to the bullpen once again as Ranger Suarez makes his 36th appearance this season.
You wonder if that 1 run will need anything later in the game, as gave Stock a little longer leash than expected, ended up giving up a run. Although not completely his fault, it was just a little bit of a lucky Texas leaguer.
Suarez coming in throwing bullets. Fastball at the knees for strike 1 to A's catcher Austin Allen, 0 for 2 on the day. And yeah, give credit to Stock. He pitched himself into a jam, but very nearly pitched himself right out of it. He is credited with 1 earned run given up. He's responsible with 2 more on base. For the moment, it'll be Cole Irvin still in line for the win for the Phillies. Especially if they can get out of the inning here. They need 1 more out. They need 1 more strike. After that one paints the top of the zone, Suarez delivers to Allen, the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Great changeup down in the dirt. Allen couldn't lay off of it, so Suarez comes in and is absolutely filthy, dispatching Allen on 4 pitches, maintaining the 2-run lead for the Phillies. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Phil's on top 3-1.
The 2 big changeups this inning for Front Dogs. See if they keep Suarez in the game, though, next inning. Obviously, you got more arms in the bullpen to use.
Yeah, they had 2 men up, righty and a lefty, Victor Arano and still Jose Alvarez. Suarez is one of those guys who started before, so he's got the ability to continue as JT Realmuto continues to harass A's pitching. That one nearly missing a double, so he just goes foul down the third base line. The 0-2 pitch to Realmuto, foul back. 0-2 again. So yeah, not sure, not too many lefties coming up for the A's in the immediate future for Suarez, but He is a starter. He's got a little bit bigger repertoire than most relievers, so maybe they keep him in, especially because, barring a big rally, the Phillies will not get close to his spot in the lineup here in the 6th.
Nope, outside.
Great fastball by MikeA. Just misses 2-2. Give MikeA credit. He is battled.
And this is probably MikeA's last inning with the pitcher spot coming up next inning, and it's
2-2 upcoming to Real Muto. And yeah, MikeA might just be trying to prove a point here that he can get Real Muto
I
out.
got 3-2.
He misses high here, 3-2. Real Muto, an RBI single in the first, a 2-run homer in the third. That's been all the Phillies scoring, but that's been enough
Take the break.
as they lead 3-1. And MikeA misses just outside. Real Muto on for the third time in as many plate appearances.
Harper.
It'll be a man on
it's a
first.
little better outcome.
Yeah, the way he's hit the ball, I guess the better option is to not let him swing at it.
No one likes leadoff walks. It never ends well for the pitcher, so we'll see how he can get. Oh, looks like he's coming out of the game.
That'll be all she wrote for MikeA,
Your attention, please. Now pitching
as
for
it'll
Oakland.
be Paul
Number
Blackburn
58.
coming on, making just his 10th appearance of the season. 2-1 records, 2.65 ERA. Bryce Harper striding to the plate for the Phils. Real Muto on first, the leadoff walk. Phillies lead at 3-1 here in the bottom of the 6th. It's been all JT Real Muto so far. RBI single in the first, 2-run homer in the third. A's tried to rally last inning, pushed across one, but the Phillies were able to escape the jam. As Blackburn gets set for his first pitch of the day. Harper right on a fastball, but fouls it back, 0-1.
Harper can break open the game right here.
Yeah, one over the wall would really break this one open here, and Harper sure is swinging for it. Another fastball up in the zone, fouls that one back. Blackburn pitching to a reverse split, which is kind of weird for a righty reliever. Lefty's hitting about 50 points lower than righties against him. He's got Harper down 0-2 in the count and freezes him with a great curveball there. Harper not sure about it, but I think that one broke right across the knees. That'll be out number 1.
Sometimes with those 0-2 pitches, the hitter will think you're going to waste it, and they won't swing just because of that. And Blackburn seems to take advantage of that on that pitch.
You know, that's what makes baseball so great, in my opinion, is it's such a mind game. The people who say there's no action, I'm not going to argue them. Like, I get it. The ball's not in play all that often. But if you know the game, then you know how much goes in between each, 30-second stretch between the pitch and the next pitch. Who's on base? What's the count? What are we doing? What's the situation? Like, it's great. It's a chess game. It's exciting.
That's ball 2.
I remember reading 60 feet, 60 inches with Bob Gibson and Reggie Jackson. They talked a lot about that, and it was very interesting to see kind of what goes through their head in between pitches or in between at-bats and kind of how they use that to affect their approach.
That one clips the top of the zone. 2-1 to Hoskins. Phillies lead it 3-1. Bottom of the 6th. Real Muto leads off first. Hoskins chases one low and away. Gets a piece of it. Fouls it back 2-2. That has been his kryptonite this season. Has not been able to lay off of that low and away pitch, especially coming from right-handed pitching.
3-2.
And they're trying exactly that kryptonite, but bouncing it in front of the plate. Good stop by Allen. Count runs 3-2. Blackburn with the payoff pitch to Hoskins. Swung on and spoiled. Good pitch, low and away.
Low away, a very difficult pitch for those power hitting or those tall hitters. because it's hard. It is harder to reach down and kind of reach onto the other side of the plate.
And there, Blackburn may have gotten away with one, hung a curveball. Hoskins a bit out in front of it, able to foul it back, but that could have been trouble if Hoskins had been a little bit more centered on that pitch. But there, responds with another slider low and away, and true to form, Hoskins swings right over it.
Shortstop.
Big strikeout there for Blackburn. 2 away.
I wonder if Hoskins can inch up a little bit more in the batter's box to kind of protect that weakness a little more in the future.
Gregorius first pitch swinging. He's going to slap that one into right. Real Muto moves up. Runners on first and second.
The left fielder, number 4.
And, I mean, I think that boils down to what we mentioned before, Michael. You know, how front offices and computers are now dictating how proven hitters try to approach hitting. When Hoskins broke into the league, he was a great low ball hitter. He was a great low and away ball hitter. He went the other way. And now all of a sudden he can't do it. And I think it's because the Phillies are saying we would rather you hit 35 home runs, 40 home runs to left field just trying to pull everything than we would you hitting, you know, about the same amount and hitting for a higher average, but not hitting as many home runs with you protecting that low and away. As this one's going to be sliced into the gap in right center. But running it down there is Grossman. So the A's escape some trouble here. They keep the lead right where it is. Blackburn, good job out of the bullpen. Score remains 3-1 Philadelphia as it'll be Franklin Barreto leading things off in the top of the 7th. Ranger Suarez still on the mound for Philadelphia.
Well, hold your breath moments last inning. That fly ball as well as that deep fly ball for the Athletics in the top of the inning.
Yeah, that one from Canna really that had me gasping a little bit. Off the bat, I thought that was all kinds of trouble. Beretta laces that one over the first base dugout. 0-2. Suarez winds and deals. That one grounded to Hoskins. Great backhandle, taking himself long run, but he beats Barreto to the bag.
The batter.
And that'll be one down here in the 7th.
Blackburn.
That's an advantage of Hoskins being someone who can play the outfield, as he has that speed where, you know, the pitcher doesn't have to go make that play with a kind of a slower first base, and you probably have to get the pitcher there, and it's a closer play at first.
Yeah, Hoskins really has come on as a good defensive first baseman this year for the Phils. So we'll have a pinch hitter here, Steven Piscotty. He wastes no time. First pitch swinging. Ground ball all the way to the track in deep right center. Piscotty's going to have himself 2 bags. And the A's have a man in scoring position here with 1 out in the 7th. Piscotty, great feel-good story, came up with the Cardinals. The Phillies are going to go to the bullpen and Victor Arano. Piscotty, a valued member of the Cardinals, but grew up in the Bay Area. Close relationship with his mom, who took ill. He wanted to be close to her, and the Cardinals arranged a trade to get him to Oakland for basically not pennies on the dollar, but for less than they could have demanded, just to do right by him. So Piscotty went over to Oakland, has been a valued member of their team ever since, and a good piece of baseball humanity in a time where baseball doesn't seem to be very humane to the rest of us who want to see baseball.
For it, and the home run he hit last year after his mom sadly passed away, it's just an emotional moment, and you can see how much, you know, it meant to him, and just how much emotion it gave his teammates. And it kind of just shows, you know, how closely knit that clubhouse is.
Simeon sends this one to right. Harper tracking back. He's got it. Piscotty won't be able to go. Strong arm by Harper. Good job in setting his feet, getting behind that ball, and making sure he could deliver a strong throw to keep Piscotty right where he is. So that'll bring Laureano to the plate now with 2 outs here in the 7th. Arano still on the bump for the Phils. Good slider on the outside corner, 0-1. There you see the Phillies bullpen. Adam Morgan, I believe the last lefty that they have in tow. He's warming up along with closer Hector Neris. It's another good off-speed pitch by Arano. Laureano, left reaching, comes up empty. Counts 0-2. Arano sets at the belt. 0-2 pitch. And tries again with the slider outside, but that time Laureano just holds back. Crowd on their feet, going wild here, sensing the gravity of the moment. Arano deals again. Swung on, grounded foul down the third base line. Count remains 1-2. Phillies lead it 3-1. Oakland, man on second, 1-2, 2 outs. Bounce foul. Count will remain 1-2. Arano fires. That's outside, and that's a Yahtzee. For all of our Twitch streamers who know how much I love Yahtzees, that's a 2-2 count with 2 outs to number 22. I get them whenever I can. 2-2 pitch is blasted into left. Kingery tracking back. He's going to get that one just shy of the track. And Arano's going to get out of this one. Another scare put into the Phils by the A's offense, but we will go to the bottom of the 7th. Phillies lead 3-1. And the A's will go to the bullpen with J.B. Wendelken making his 34th appearance of the season. And Phillies third baseman Alec Bohm leading off.
Pitch to Bohm is fouled off. 0-1 on the count.
Nope.
Wendelken sets and fires. Looked like he caught the outside corner, but he doesn't get the benefit of the doubt there. Count will go to 1-1.
Anytime you can steal a ball or steal a strike, it is a key pivot, key turning point in the bat.
Yeah, it really is, especially in a 3-1 game. You know, relievers trying to get big outs, and a lot of that has to do with having the count in your favor. As Wendelken does now, he's got Bohm 1-2 in the count, trying to get him to chase, but he doesn't. Curveball in the dirt, 2-2.
We got 3-2.
Another curve. Bohm doesn't offer. And while the power has kind of gone out on Bohm, he has continued to have a great eye at the plate. Payoff pitch upcoming. That one swung on and fouled back. Spoils a good pitch on the outside corner. Wendelken sets, delivers. Bohm rips that one right to third base. Good play by Chapman. He's up and throwing, and one down here in the 7th.
The batter, number 2.
Chapman is so smooth defensively. He's really come into his own over the last few years and become one of the main stars of the league.
Yeah, you can chalk it up to, I guess, East Coast bias or something. The fact that no one's awake for some of the A's games, but you're right. Chapman, he's about as well-rounded as you're going to find in any third baseman anywhere in the league.
Count 1-0.
Segura steps in, takes one high, ball one. That one catches the outside corner, 1-1. Phillies lead it 3-1, did most of their damage early. All of it done by JT Realmuto. RBI single in the first, 2-run homer in the third. Oakland answered with one back in the sixth. And that's where we stand right now as Wendelken sets and gets ready for a 1-2 Segura. Hanging curve, Segura couldn't pull the trigger. And maybe Wendelken got away with one. That was a very hittable pitch, but it freezes Segura. And he'll be down looking for out number 2.
Your attention, please.
To this bat that didn't really break much. He had also that changeup for strike. That didn't really change. Didn't do much. Almost looked like a fastball that sunk a little bit at the end. So we'll see if we can get a little bit more of that break back for the end for at least this batter.
So Phillies going to the bench. Utility man Josh Harrison on to pinch hit. Arano already has been in the game, so wonder who they'll go to for their setup man. Would think it would probably be Adam Morgan. Count quickly 0-2 to Harrison. Wendelken sets and fires. Swung on a miss. He deals with Harrison in short order. 3 pitches, 3 strikes, and a 1-2-3 inning for Wendelken. And we will head to the 8th. Phillies still on top, 3-1.
The A's in the lineup. I can also see them putting in there just to deal with them, but they are putting in Morgan, at least for now. Probably going to pitch Neris the 9th, or if Morgan gets in trouble.
Yeah, Neris definitely the closer. But running into that string of lefties in the A's lineup, Chapman not one of them, but they're coming up with Olsen and a few others after him. So have to think that's the rationale here by Girardi. But it'll be Chapman leading off the 8th. The 1-0 pitch by Morgan over with a good slider there, or changeup, I'm sorry. Don't know if that was a miss or not. Usually you don't want to throw an inside changeup, but counts 1-1. Morgan sets at the letters. The 1-1 pitch. That one misses outside. 2-1. Morgan doesn't seem too eager to challenge with the fastball.
Outside, that's the ball.
There he does burn it on the outside corner, but can't get the call. 3-1.
Chapman has worked the count a lot this game. At least 15 pitches thrown to him already, just in Chapman at bats.
Morgan's going to let that one go low. So exactly what you don't want out of a reliever coming on in the late innings with a lead. He walks the first man he faces and now just ventures farther into the teeth of this A's lineup as Mark Canha steps in. Canha missing a home run by, I would say maybe 5 feet last time up.
And looking for a little bit, trying to hit the ball a little bit further this time maybe to tie up the game.
That one in the dirt. Realmuto not only blocks it, but tries to catch Chapman, leading too far off at first. But 1-0 pitch now coming to Canha. Morgan needs to start being more competitive with these pitches, as that one misses well low and in. 2-0. Morgan needs to do something. He's got to bring the fight to these bats. Sets and deals. That one's going to miss outside. Now 3-0.
have to wonder if they end up putting Neris in this inning, if they could pitch him through the ninth as well, or they're going to try to go through an untested guy to close the game.
Morgan gets that one across 3-1. Neris has proven that he can go for a 2-inning save, but that is not what is on Girardi's menu, especially having gone through most of his more trusted relievers. They'd really be down to bare bones here if they have to use Neris and then somebody else. As Morgan might have been done a favor there. It was a good pitch, running hard, low and in to Canna. He fouls it off, and now it'll be a payoff pitch upcoming. Man on first, nobody out. And Canna smokes that one deep to left field. That one's not coming back, and this game is tied up. A monstrous 2-run home run by Mark Canna. And the A's have pulled even here with the Phillies here in the top of the 8th.
It's got to be demoralizing for the Phillies. You put in two of your kind of guys that weren't as trusted, and they did the job, and now you put in one of your guys that you trust the most, and then he blows the game for you guys. So now it's basically a tie game. It's a clean slate, and it's a race to the finish.
Absolutely no doubt about that one. That might have been second deck out there in left field. Takes a pretty good pop to reach those outskirts of Citizens Bank Park. But now Morgan's still in. He's got more work to do as Olsen, who can also rifle one out of here in a hurry, takes a big swing and fouls one off 0-1.
Phillies may have second thoughts about putting in there, because they don't have a lot of guys left to pitch. Because it is a tie game, you may not be in a safe situation, but who else do you trust from that bullpen?
Yeah, there's not many. I mean, Neris is going to have to do something. Alvarez is more of a short-term lefty guy, but he can go a little bit. If this would start to venture deep into extra innings, you're going to have to rely on Nick Pivetta.
And I guess emergency, you also have the pitcher on their stretch today. They can pitch 2 or 3 innings, although it's not ideal.
So 1-2 count here to Matt Olson. Good pitch by Morgan. Olson spoils it. 1-2 count remains. So 3-3, brand new ball game here in the top of the 8th. A 2-run blast by Canna has knotted things up, and Olsen trying his best to match it. Rifles that one, but well fouled down the right field line. Count still 1-2.
If this game goes extra, you have to think the A's have the advantage, as Manaea definitely went longer, and last case would have went long if he didn't get hurt. Unfortunately, the Phillies did have to burn 2 extra relievers due to that.
Morgan is going to get Olsen in the shoulder. And, that one leaked up and in. Olsen definitely didn't lean into it, but at the same time, that is the tried and true, I'm turning right into this one while trying to make you think that I'm turning away from it. Sticks that shoulder blade out there. He'll take the pain for the free base. And that's going to do it for Adam Morgan. A disastrous outing for Morgan as Alvarez is going to come in here to try to get the Phillies out of the 8th that still has nobody out.
Phillies running short on bullpen guys, so you're going to have to hope that Alvarez kind of shut the A's down and maybe even get into the next inning if he's able to get this one quickly.
Robbie Grossman now standing in for the A's. The 1-0 pitch, that one skied to right. Harper on the run, tracking into right center. He's going to track it down. Great play there by Harper. Needed a good read off the bat to get that far into right center field. But he runs it down, and that'll be the first out here in the 8th. That'll bring up Oakland catcher Austin Allen. He is 0 for 3 on the day. Allen check swing there, didn't go around. Off-speed pitch runs away, 1-0. Alvarez delivers high 2-0.
To calm down here, you need to get a little. You need to get out of getting not a lot of guys left.
Great fastball on the outside corner to ring up a strike there. Comes back to the inside corner and doesn't get the call. And it's now 3-1. So Alvarez, big pitch here, doesn't want to let anyone else on. Go ahead run already at first. So that one is going to be shot out to left. Kingery under it. He'll make easy work of that one. Out number 2.
The batter number 1, second baseman, Franklin Barreto.
Alvarez doing a nice job cleaning up this little bit of a disaster of an inning so far for the Phillies.
Franklin Barreto now steps in. Barreto 1 for 3. A little C&I single earlier in the game. Alvarez pumps one over. 0-1 to Barreto. Go ahead run still at first. 2 outs here in the 8th. The A's tying it earlier in this inning on a monstrous 2-run shot by MikeA.
Nope, at the ball.
Alvarez deals low, 1-2. Alvarez sets the belt. 1-2 pitch. Good pitch. 2-seamer just below the knees. Can't get the call. Count will go to 2-2. Alvarez again at the belt. Fires high. Barreto swings right through it, and that'll do it for the A's here in the 8th, but not before MikeA ties this one up. An absolute monster shot to left field, no doubt about it. 450 feet, a 2-run bomb ties this game at 3-3 as we head to the bottom of the 8th.
Alvarez could possibly pitch another inning.
Your attention, please.
Here you see the A's making a double switch. It'll be former Philly Jake Diekman on the pitch. Anybody on the Twitch stream, we cannot hear the PA announcements as to who the other part of that double switch is. If you could help, that would be much appreciated. American League always stepping well out of their comfort zone, having to make double switches. But it'll be Diekman on to face Adam Hazley. Diekman with that crossfire action can run it well up into the high 90s. A terror on left-handed batters, and he's quickly ahead 0-1 on Hazley.
No ball, 2 strikes.
Diekman fires, swing and a miss. Good slider on the outside corner, 0-2 to Hazley.
It's always so different seeing a guy who has like a little bit more sidearm, even maybe a little bit more of a diagonal approach, just trying to kind of see the ball. It's just so different, and the hitters have to adjust.
And Hazley could not. Had no chance there as Diekman just ate him up. Hazley trying to be aggressive, swinging at a couple, but chases one outside and it gets tied up inside, and he is down on strikes quickly. But that'll bring up JT Realmuto. He has been everything for the Phillies offense so far today. RBI single in the first, 2-run homer in the third, and the Phillies sure could use one more big swing out of their catcher right now in the bottom of the 8th. Diekman sets the 1-0-1 pitch. That one's going to be grounded to short, quickly over to first, 2 away.
Right fielder, number 3, Bryce Harper.
So now another lefty-on-lefty matchup. Harper's won his fair share of these, but at the same time, Diekman seems to be dialed in right now. Misses low and away here, 1-0.
Harper not having a great game, but and any time he could hit a long, long ball.
Yeah, he's never going to get cheated on swings. So if you mess up and throw one in his swing path, as Diekman did there, gets away with it as that one's line foul. You know, if you throw into Harper and he hits it, he's probably going to hit it hard. So 1-1 count, 2 outs here in the 8th. Diekman fires, Harper swinging again right over the top of a good fastball. 1-2.
And luckily for the A's, with this game, you're still up by a lot, even if you do lose, as opposed to the other division's much closer. So it's not as bad if they lose, but obviously you do want the win.
Yeah, they've taken 2 so far here in Philadelphia. Would love to get the sweep, especially after trailing for much of this game. Diekman fires up and away. 2-2. So Harper grinding out this at bat. Harper's been known to be a little too aggressive, swing at too many, and end at bats quickly. But here, waiting out Diekman after falling behind early. Now the 2-2 pitch is swung on, and did he get a piece of that? Yes, he did. He'll stay alive. Good slider. Harper just touches it. 2-2. We'll do it again.
Count is 3-2.
Diekman goes farther low and farther away. Harper lays off, and now a payoff pitch upcoming to the Philly right fielder. Diekman delivers, and Harper swings right through a slider. Diekman 1-2-3 carves up the Phillies offense here in the 8th. We go to the 9th. We've got a brand new ball game, 3-3.
Leading off for Oakland, the second baseman, Chad Pinder.
They are keeping Alvarez in the game. He didn't have too much trouble last inning, and not a high pitch count.
Count 1-0.
Yeah, and with the Phillies going through so many relievers early in the game when they thought they might be able to just get through this one in regulation, they really don't have too many more choices. They've got Pivetta, they've got Neris, and I don't know, maybe one more option there.
Yeah, early Neris will be next inning.
Yeah, the early exit via injury by Vince Velasquez really hurting the Phillies here. They've been running on bullpen fumes since 1 out in the 3rd. Alvarez sets the 2-2 pitch to Pisner, is lined to right field. Is that one going to stay fair? No. Slice is foul. Could have been 2. That could have been all kinds of trouble. Pisner fouls another one back. Count remains 2-2.
Came in a double switch last game that you saw. And he's had a pretty nice career for the A's.
He lost that one into left center. Long run for all parties involved. Hazley's going to track that one down just shy of the 374 mark in left center. Great read, great run by Hazley. Saving the Phillies all sorts of headaches here. And it'll be 1 down in the top of the 9th as the lineup turns over and Marcus Semien up to bat for the A's. Alvarez with the 1-0 to Semien. Good slider catches the bottom of the zone. 1-1. Semien rifles that one foul down the first baseline. Seems that the ball girls in Philadelphia have been replaced by ball boys here. Semien shoots another one foul. Count remains 1-2.
Ball boy or ball girl's job is so unappreciated. I mean, you're sitting out there in the hot sun all game. At least, with the players, you get to go in the dugout for half the game at least.
Yeah, you were getting baked if you were sitting down on that stool. You don't even get back support. It's always a stool. Why can't they get them a chair?
And they probably don't even get food either. So you got all these fans eating food, and you get to smell it, but you can't even have it during the game.
Yeah, if I was in that position, I'd bring like, $10-20 every day, at least get someone in the front row. Like, I will give you the first foul ball I get if you get me a hot dog in like the 5th inning.
Well, now with the Nets, it's even more difficult. I mean, you're not going to try to put it through the net. It may ruin the food.
Simeon putting up a battle here. He's fouled off 3 straight. Count remains 2-2. Alvarez battling. Game side 3-3 here in the 9th. Great pitch on the outside corner, but does not get the call. So payoff pitch upcoming to Simeon. A's trailing for much of the night, tied at last inning on MikeA, 2-run shot. And Alvarez is going to lose Simeon on the walk. So A's with the go-ahead run aboard with 1 out here in the 9th. And it'll be Ramon Laureano up to bat. Alvarez deals, misses up and away, 1-0. Nice fastball there. Evens the count, 1-1. Don't think with a lefty. Go ahead.
I think you were about to say that it's maybe his last batter. They need to put that after this or some other reliever.
I got 2-1 the count.
Yeah, possibly, except the Phillies bullpen is so depleted. Hard to tell, because that one's going to be laced. Great backhand stop by Gregorius, on to Segura, on to Hoskins. And what could have been a rally starter turns into a rally killer. The Phillies turn an incredible 6-4-3 double play to end the inning and send this one to the bottom of the 9th. What a play by Gregorius.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please.
Very nice board between Gregorius and Segura. It may have helped that Segura once played shortstop because he kind of know the angle of the ball that Gregorius is going to throw it at. And so he can position himself better to receive it and throw it to first. And obviously Gregorius has become a really nice player at shortstop, as I said earlier.
So it is now officially a battle of bullpens. War of attrition here. Lou Trevino on to pitch the 9th for the A's. As Hoskins trying to end it in one pitch, swings right through an elevated slider. But can't get to it. The A's probably with more depth, more firepower in the bullpen as we inch towards possibly extra innings. The Phillies could walk it off here. Hoskins still trying his damnedest to do that. He swings through another one up in the zone, 0-2. Trevino sets at the letters. Hoskins once again swings and misses, and Hoskins ambitious with all those swings, but can't put anything on it. He's down on 3 straight, and that's 1 down here in the bottom of the 9th.
He was around Deacon last inning and Trevino this inning with a kind of not over the top delivery, a little bit more to the side. Not as much as Deacon, but Trevino still kind of a little bit of an abnormal pitching style.
Yeah, normal, abnormal, when you're thrown at 98 at the top of the zone, you're probably going to get the job done. That's what he relied on against Hoskins. That's what he tries against Gregorius here, but misses high. 1-0 upcoming to the Phillies shortstop. That one's going to miss low, 2-0. Three game here, bottom of the 9th. Phillies led it throughout before MikeA 2-run home run in the 8th tied it up. Phillies could walk it off at any moment, but they've got to deal with the hard throw in Trevino. And he'll put that one across the kneecaps, 2-1. Gregorius, plenty of drama, plenty of extra base hits. Almost all of his hits, doubles or home runs this season. Phillies would love to see either here. There he chases a fastball up in the zone, fouls it off, and it's 2-2. Trevino sets and fires. That one off speed and leaks inside, 3-2. Trevino doesn't like the grip on that one, gets a new baseball. Tense times here, doesn't want to let the potential winning run on base. Payoff pitch upcoming. Here's the set. 3-2 pitch is swung on and laced, but foul down the right field line. Gregorius seemed to know what was coming. That was a hittable pitch just out in front of it. We'll do it again. Here comes another 3-2 from Trevino. Swung on and laced. That's going to beat the shift and get down into the corner. Long run for the left fielder. That's going to be a stand-up double for Gregorius. And the Phillies, just like that, have the winning run on second with one out here in the ninth.
The pitcher, when you have the shift and you end up hitting right where the third base would probably be on that play. So the shift works most of the time, but when it doesn't work, it is frustrating for a pitcher when you pitched him the right way and just the shift, you lost to the shift.
Yeah, that's maximum frustration because that was not Gregorius trying to beat the shift. He was just late on a fastball. However, he beat everybody who thought he would be in front of it. And it ends up with a double. And Gregorius could be your winning run as Kingery now steps in. Trevino fires great fastball right on the outside corner. Quickly 0-1. Kingery could win this one with a hit. But instead he's going to try to bunt his way on. Great bunt down the first base line. Even better defense by the A's. They're going to erase him at first. Kingery upset, probably thought he had an easy hit. But some great defensive moves. Pitcher's fielding practice paying off. He moves Gregorius over, but with 2 outs, still going to take a hit to win this game for the Phils, and it'll be the rookie, Alec Boehm, stepping up to the plate in a chance to probably record what would be his biggest hit so far as a Philly.
Choice of the bunt there. Obviously probably trying to get a hit because moving over doesn't do much. Corey is fast enough that he'll score on almost every single that someone would hit. But now it is Boehm's chance to win the game.
Yeah, that was absolutely a bunt for a hit, and I don't think it was a bad one. Just great execution there by the A's defense. Maybe with nobody out, I would have less of an issue with it, as the 1-0 is going to be tapped right back to the mound. Trevino takes care of business, and we have got some free BotBall. We venture on to the 10th. 3-3 here in South Philly. The Phillies will be going to the bullpen. It'll be a double switch, I would assume. On the right-hand tap, that it will be that guy. Yep, Nick Pivetta. Again, Twitch users, if you could help us out on who the other half of that double switch is. On the Twitch stream, whoever Luke Archer is, I hate you, but thank you for watching.
0-1, no strike.
Matt
Those
Chapman.
20 innings, we're going to have a finishing player pitching.
Well, I can tell you it's not going 20 because the Phillies do not physically have the pitchers to get through that due to the early injury to Velasquez. But Pivetta on now, the 1-1 count to Chapman's ground to third. Boehm, great backhanded stop, throwing on the run. Good stretch by Hoskins, and Chapman has put away one down here in the 10th. Thank you, EB in Toronto. Jay Bruce now in the game, playing left field.
the outfield for the Phillies, but nice hitter off the bench for them.
So Canna, first pitch swinging, flies out to right. Harper puts it away. Canna tied this game back in the 8th with a 2-run shot to left. But he's erased on one pitch here. 2 up, 2 down for Pivetta here in the 10th, and it'll be Matt Olson, another dangerous Oakland bat, standing in here in the 10th. Pivetta misses high, 1-0. Pivetta got, oh wow, Girardi not happy all of a sudden. Letting the home plate umpire hear about it. I thought that one was a bit high.
Inside, ball 2.
That one maybe he'll take more exception to. That one looked like it burned the corner, but 2-0 now to Olson. Olson waiting for his pitch to hit. The curveball breaks off at the knees for strike 1.
Muto has benefited from having a former catcher as the manager. Obviously, Girardi playing in the late 90s and early 2000s as a catcher in the majors. So, interesting dynamic there as well, with already a great catcher.
Olson gives that one a ride, but to the wrong part of the ballpark. That's about as deep as you're going to get here at the vault. Hazley camps under it and puts it away. We go to the bottom of the 10th. Still 3-3 here in Philly. And yeah, I agree with you, Michael. I've always been a proponent of catchers becoming managers because it's always the guys doing the grunt work and seeing how the game plays out that you really want to manage the team. And I think catchers fit that role in Major League Baseball. I think that in football you want offensive linemen. In basketball you want guys who are coming off the bench and not the stars. It's always the guys that you want seeing and experiencing the entire game from every perspective that seem to have a better transition into going from playing to coaching.
Sure, almost like a middle linebacker of the field, where he's commanding everyone where to go and throw it, and kind of taking control of what the defense does because he's seeing it from a different side.
Exactly. You see it all. You know the limitations. You know the strengths. That one's going to be shot out to second, sending on to first. And that'll be one down here in the 10th.
Number 9, Jay Groot.
Pivetta had less than 10 pitches, so he probably will go a second inning unless Girardi decides he wants to put in Maris for facing tougher hitters.
Yeah, I think it's Pivetta for the long haul here. Another one of those guys that can go 3-4 innings if you need them. And here is the second half of that double switch you heard about at the top of the last inning. It'll be Jay Bruce. He's struck out plenty of times, but he can still hit a long ball with the best of them. The Phillies would be just fine with that right now, as one run would win it for the Phillies here in the bottom of the 10th. Trevino is still on second inning of work for the A's. He's got a 2-0 hitter's count to Bruce, and you know Bruce is just looking for a fastball. Trevino can burn him, but Bruce can hit him. And there he goes chasing up and away, 2-1. Trevino sets at the letters, 2-1 pitch. That one's a lace opposite side, doesn't beat the shift. Tried to. Chapman in the usual shortstop position is going to get the L5. Put that down in your scorecard. So tough luck out for Bruce there. Hit it on the screws. Tried to go away from the shift, still lined out. And now it'll be Hazley up to bat again. Hazley, a good day, 2 doubles, 2 for 4 on the day. A couple of runs scored. Oh, 0-1 from Trevino, down low and in, 1-1. Trevino being taxed a bit, but not giving in one bit. Still hitting the high 90s with that fastball. The 1-1 pitch. Good breaking stuff, but low and in, 2-1. Aisley goes hunting for possibly a game-ending home run. He's hit him before, but swings under that one up in the zone, 2-2. Trevino sets and fires, tries to get Hazley to chase again. That time he lays off of it up in the zone. And we'll have a payoff pitch here. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of the 10th, 3-3 game here in Philly. Trevino deals. Swung on and lined to deep left. Going back and caught at the fence. Plenty of drama here in the 10th. Hazley giving it a ride. But this one will trudge on into the 11th. Still tied at 3. And it'll be Pivetta continuing on for the Phils on the mound. As we are going deep into the BotBall night.
Nope, inside, ball 2.
That it deals up and in, 2-0 to Grossman. Grossman 1 for 4 on the day.
That's ball 3.
That misses again, 3-0. Last thing you want is a leadoff walk in extra innings. That it deals that one right down Broadway, 3-1.
3-0 pitchers. More hitters recently have gotten the swing sign just because they know pitchers are going to lay it in there, but not this time.
Grossman lines that one foul. Now the payoff pitch. That one's going to be looped into left field. Long run for Kingery. Lays out. Can't get it. That one's into the corner. Grossman's going to have 2. And that's a leadoff double for Robbie Grossman. And the A's have something brewing here in the 11th.
You go back to that double switch, right? Bruce is in left field now, so maybe if you have to, if you don't have him in there, a play is made because Bruce is a slower outfielder.
Yeah, you are
right. The rest of the Phillies ones.
You are right. Thank you, Michael. I thought that was Kingery still out there. You were keeping far better attention than I was. That was Jay Bruce. And still give him all the credit in the world. He tried to lay out, but yeah, if that's Kingery, that might be an easier play. Instead, turns into a leadoff double, and now Pivetta in defense mode. Although he pumps a good fastball down in the zone. Getting ahead 0-1 here. A's with the go-ahead run at second, nobody out. Top of the 11th inning.
Ball 1. Got a ball, 1 strike.
That curveball goes low, 1-1 to Austin Allen. Allen flares that one into the left. They're testing Bruce again. That time he runs it down. Good spin and fire.
Hitting for the Athletics.
Prevents a tag up. Will be 1 out. Go ahead run still at second. And we're going to have a pinch hitter, it would appear, for the A's. It'll be Chris Davis. Big power threat. Davis batting well above his career average. Supposed to have a day off, but now trying to win this game here in extras, trying to complete the sweep for the A's. It's Pivetta trying to stave off this leadoff double here in the 11th. The 1-1 pitch to Davis leaks inside. 2-1.
And Davis, look at those numbers. Almost MVP-like numbers. Not saying he's going to win MVP, but the A's are winning their division, and Davis is finally hitting for average. Obviously, he always has the power. So, great season by him.
3-1 pitch now coming. Wouldn't be surprised if they just kind of stayed away from the power of Davis. But Pivetta challenges him. Davis fouls it off. Count now 3-2. Davis, probably the most improbable record in MLB history. 4 consecutive seasons he batted .247. As he fouls that one off. And that was not like pinch hitting spot duty. That was full-time player 162 games, managed to bat the exact same mark 4 years in a row. As Pivetta with the huge 12-6 hammer, great pitch, gets Davis swinging a big second out here in the top of the 11th. Chad Pinder now the batter. Pivetta really dug down deep, but he's got to do it for at least one more batter. The 1-0 to Pinder. Good fastball, grounded foul to the first base side, 1-1. Pivetta sets at the letters. 1-1 pitch is swung on. It looked like it was well up in the zone, but Pinder was ready to swing. Got a hold of that one, lines it foul down the left field line, 1-2. Pivetta deals chopper to Bohm. Bohm up with it on 2 hops on the first. And Pivetta is going to get around the leadoff double and pitch his way through the 11th inning. We go to the bottom half of the 11th, 3-3 here in Philadelphia.
Coming up for the Phillies, you got Real Muto, who is driven on all the runs today, as well as Harper Hoskins, who we know can hit the ball at the ballpark.
So the A's now diving deeper into their bullpen. I can pronounce Yusmeiro. I have not done enough digging to know whether it's Petit or Petit. Forgive me,
I
Twitch
believe
audience.
it's Petit.
Okay. It is spelled like Petit, just didn't want to be loud wrong on the air, but I will trust you. But if there's anyone the Phillies want up right now, it's this guy, JT Realmuto, 2 for 3. He's got all 3 runs batted in for the Phillies, a single RBI single in the first, 2-run homer in the third, but now down 0-2 in the count as Petit fires and Realmuto spoils that one. Back our way, count's still 0-2. Petit sets the 0-2 pitch. That one misses below the knees, 1-2. Crowd on their feet here at Citizens Bank, but Realmuto swings through that one. Good fastball. Out and away. And he fans right through that one, out in front of it actually. One down here in the 11th for the Phils.
Success for Petit to start off, but a nice start obviously by him, striking out Philly's best hitter today.
Bryce Harper on. He's had a rough go of it so far, but could definitely end it with one swing here. Petit, though, a great outside fastball catch in the corner, 0-1 to Harper. Petit deals, took something off of that one. Harper swings right through it. Great changeup, 0-2. Going right after the heart of the Phillies order. As he grounds that one, Harper does, to first base. Olsen takes care of that one, and 2 quickly down here in the bottom of the 11th. That'll bring up Reese Hoskins. Hoskins 1 for 4 on the day. He's had his share of very clutch hits. The Phillies could use one right now. Game tied 3-3, bottom of the 11th. Petit burns one in right at the top of the zone. 0-1.
1-1.
That one misses outside 21.
He doesn't throw it very fast. Low 90s fastball, so it's more based on control and break in terms of his success on the mound.
That's a ball.
Petit sets and fires. Check swing doesn't go. That one leaks low. 2-1. And yeah, when you're dealing with less velocity, you've got to stay ahead in the count. This is where it gets dangerous. 2-1 hitters count. Petit fires. That one looked low, but Hoskins went after it. Grounds a foul behind the plate. 2-2. Hoskins just lays off. He's been rung up on plenty of those low and away. But now a payoff pitch upcoming. And that one is swung on and driven to deep left field, but that one's going to hook foul. Could have been the game, but Hoskins knew it right off the bat. That one was hooking all the way. So we'll do it again. Another payoff pitch by Petit. That one swung on and fouled off again. So Hoskins, a strikeout victim far too often if you're a Phillies fan this season, but still can run an at-bat way up there in the pitch count. Another payoff pitch is swung on and fouled off again. This will be the 9th pitch upcoming in the at-bat. Petit sets at the belt. Fires to Hoskins. That one's going to leak outside. Hoskins draws the walk. And a potential winning run now on first base with 2 outs here in the 11th.
A walk Gregorius here. I believe Bruce is up next, and obviously not can hit for power, but not as much of a threat. Or actually, sorry, pitcher spot's up next, I believe.
You saw Petit with the hands on the hips. He's not tired yet, just 17 pitches thrown as Gregorius is going to slap that one into left. That's going to get down for a hit. Hoskins will stop at second, but now Phillies with runners on first and second. Hoskins the winning run. 180 feet away with 2 outs here in the 11th. You see there the Phillies bench options. Backup catcher Devi Grullon, who looks like he might be coming out right now. Not sure why they do that with Roman Quinn still on the bench, but it is what it is. Either way, a hit will do it. And Petit fires low and away, 1-0. So Philly's in great position to win it, but at the same time running out of options on the bench and in the bullpen. So if they're going to end it, they want to do it quickly. Need Grullon to come up big, as he tried his best to stick his elbow into that one, but it just misses. Runs inside 2-0.
You know, if there's an injury in the Phillies face, it's going to be really hard. They may have to put a pitcher in position player, or just put players out of position. So you got to hope here.
Yeah, and all this stems back to the 3rd inning injury for Vince Velasquez. They were put in emergency mode from the start. As here the 2-1 is swung on and driven deep to left field by Grullon. This one's going to be gone. A walk-off 3-run home run by Devi Grullon. What an ending to this one. His first major league home run is a walk-off. Celebrate all you want, young man. The Phillies walk it off in 11. Oh my, did not see that one coming. That's the kind of action you get here on Late Night ML BotBall.
Signature moment for this season for him, and a little bit unexpected for the hero, but this game was anything but expected.
Hanging slider there by Petit and Grullon all over it. Laces a line drive deep into the stands in left center. And the Phillies are going to walk off happy here. Looked like they might have squandered a lead that they held for much of the game. Tied up by the Mark Canha 2-run home run in the 8th. It was 3-3 into the 11th. And then Real Muto, who's the player of the game, he knocked in the first 3 for the Phillies, but it's Grullon knocking in the final 3 on that 3-run shot to make it a 6-3 walk-off victory for the Phillies. Although here, as we watch the postgame, it'll be JT Realmuto, your player of the game. I don't know if that's fair. You got to give it to the rookie with the first career home run.
Yeah, I mean, like, first career home run, I don't know. I feel like the best thing you could do, like a walk-off 3-run homer, it's to be remembered forever, not just by him, but by Phillies fans. a huge walk-off for that, man. Avoid the sweep as well.
Yeah, that big spot for the Phillies there is they were in danger of falling back to 500, 35 and 34 heading into this game. They've been toying with that 500 number for most of the season, really. So big move there to avoid the sweep and get a win over the AL West leaders to salvage this series here and do it in dramatic fashion. Once again, your final score here, 6-3 Phillies in 11. JT Realmuto knocking in the 3 runs in regulation, and then Devi Gruyan, backup catcher, bold move by Joe Girardi, substituting him in for a pinch hitter in the 11th. The Phillies basically out of options both on the bench and on the mound after a third inning injury to Vince Velasquez. But Gruyan says, "Don't worry, guys, I got you. We don't have to do any more handiwork with the lineup. I'll just deposit this one about 380 feet into left center." So plenty of heroes here for the Phillies, and most importantly for the Phils, getting the 1 win here in the 3-game set against the swinging A's. What a game, Michael, and I know that this is your first call, so welcome to BotBall.
And I really enjoyed doing this game. It felt, it just, back and forth, and all the drama, and I do miss this. Baseball, it's just such a fun sport to watch.
And here you see a few of the highlights of the game there. The Matt Canna home run that tied this game and sent it unnecessarily into extra innings as we were already running behind on the BotBall schedule.
Yeah, so late night's going to be midnight now.
Yeah, I was going to say, if Janet or Garrett is on the controls, we don't need to see all these highlights. We can just run it right into the next game. As I see, we already have Hines and Tardis in the on-deck circle here as we await what is usually late night BotBall, but it'll be late night BotBall. They don't put any consideration or originality into the very late night shows, so I won't either. And it seems like you guys are going to be probably getting some overtime, I would think.
Yeah, pretty much. And technically this game should be on tape delay. It's like 4 in the morning in England, so...
Yeah, that is right. We are across the pond for this one. So this is breakfast BotBall, I guess. I mean, this is prime time. Everybody rising up early with nothing to do on a Monday morning in jolly old England. They are going to be treated to the Cubs and the Cardinals, rounding out the international series over in London.
Yeah, grab your tea and get ready for a game.
Here we are running down the box score, but in the interest of time, I will just turn it over to you guys. We won't waste any more of your time. Everybody who saw it on Twitch knows how dramatic that was. Devi Gruyan with the dramatic walk-off 3-run home run, the first of his career. Phillies win this one 6-3, salvage the series. But now we will take the quick Concord flight over across the pond to London to get you ready for Cubs, Cardinals, and some London BotBall action.